Hello everyone, I Radhika Khurana welcome you to a brand new episode of Lawyer Speaks presented to you by Law Community, wherein we invite brilliant minds of legal fraternity so that you get to know their lives and get to peek into their stories. And today we have with us Advocate Ankit Tripathi, a commercial litigator, experienced mooter and author of many renowned publications. Thank you sir for joining us.
Thank you, Radhika.
So my first question is it's a very basic question. How has your law journey been like? Like, how did you decide to do law, and what has it been like after that?
To be very honest, I was the first person from my family to break the lineage, like in the law fraternity. I'm the first generation lawyer in my family, and frankly, I did not choose to do law when I was in my law school life. I never even dreamt of becoming a lawyer, during my entire life. So it just happened because of some reasons. I just happened to join the CLAT preparation and then ended up joining a law school, and then here I am practicing law, in Delhi. So it just happened because of some reason, and now I can say that yes, that I am now because of the law school journey which I had from my Institute of Law near my university, which recently imparted a lot of skills and experiences imbibed in me, because of which I am trying to be a successful lawyer at least as of now, because it's just a year or two in practicing in New Delhi. So I can say that yes, the journey as a lawyer, I say so far so good, because it's just a beginning, and as you know that there are a lot of people, a lot of young lawyers are graduating every year, and the competition is very huge. So I can say that that I have got, I'm really blessed to have got a good senior, because currently I am working as a retainer and associated with the law chambers of Mr. J. Sai Deepak, a renowned advocate. So I can say that I've got a very good and motivating colleagues and seniors in my office, because of which I am, able to take my career ahead in the direction in which I want.
So you have been an active mooter during your college years, if I'm not wrong. So what do you think are the skills that are required that students should imbibe for mooting? What advice would you like to give them?
Yes. So I was during my law school journey. I would say that I was involved in both organizing the moot court competition and participating in the moot court competition, and because of which I had imbibed the experience of both the sides of the competition, like the participation as well and the organizing part as well. So when it comes to the experiences of participating in the competition, I would say that yes, because I started my mooting career in my first year of law school. So I mooted from my first year till my third year. So these 3 years, because in fourth and fifth years I was associated with the leadership in the college, so I couldn't participate because of some restrictions in the college circuit. So as far as my participation is concerned, my participation was basically concerned with the constitutional law moot, because that was my core area of interest in my law school. So it was really because as far as I feel, in my personal opinion, mooting is the first thing in the law school which gets you closer to the practical world of the litigation and the law field, right? So because I got this information from my seniors who were there in my law school, who taught me that it is something mooting which you can do, and whenever you come to law school, it's all about mooting in the law school. So, and like I personally feel that there is nothing that that stops you from mooting. Like if you want to be even if you want to go into academia, even if you want to go into judiciary, or even if you want to go to any other XYZ field, I don't think that there is anything which stops from participation in the moots. So because I think it's a really nice opportunity to participate in the moot court competition, because it helps us in building a lot of things, right? From the mooting is one such thing which helped me particularly in matriculating the research, like how far you can research, how coordinative you can be, and it was mooting because of which I usually developed the team skills, the cooperation skills, how to work in the team, how not to have the egos, because when there are four or five or three people working together, then mentors. So how not to have team egos, how to behave properly, and how to listen each other's opinion. Then it usually happened that I was faced with very dramatic seniors and very, seniors who were very rude on the face just for the sake of it, for our only benefit. We usually face that kind of judges in our all around in my college. So it really helped us in becoming whatever we are today. So yes, the moot court competition in which I participated really helped me in imbibing the research skills, the team cooperation skills, the drafting skills more importantly, because currently most of the students what they lack currently is the lack of research and drafting skills. And because of mooting, usually I used to get ahead of the other students. Not much ahead, but at least some part of mooting really helped me in becoming a better law student than any others, because I really had some better ideas about some or the other thing. If I am participating in, let's say, a constitutional law moot court competition and I worked on, say, a reservation, so I would be having little bit of knowledge of reservation better than the other students. That really helped me in becoming. So it was the same like with the other students, right? And then accordingly, because it happened, so I usually used to mentor a lot of team whoever used to participate in the competition as and when I used to get time, and as and when the team requires my support and cooperation. So yes, I gave them whatever support I wanted to give from my side and whatever they were willing to have from my side. So it was a very good journey of moving in my law school, and because of that, I am continuing that as of now. Because I'm judging a lot of competition. That is the reason. Because I was constantly interested in the moot court competition. That is why even after graduating, I tried to associate myself to the mooting circuit, because mooting is something by which we can learn something, or mooting is something by which we can unlearn something. The learning and unlearning should be a part of the process. So therefore, I usually see moot court as a part of my very important part of my law school and law journey.
So you mentioned two skills, that is researching and drafting. So coming to researching, so you've written quite a few research papers, if I'm not wrong, and that too for quite well-known publishers and journals. So what, according to you, are the tips and tricks that all like the law students should know while writing a good research paper?
See, that's a very good question at this point of time, because what I am seeing is there's a burgeoning rise in the number of blogs and illegal platforms which are coming these days. And most of the students, what they are doing currently is they're choosing a topic, and they are like in the quest of becoming overshadowing the other people. Whenever you open a LinkedIn, some of the other people are like happy to share this, happy to share my publication. So most of the people are really feeling like they want to overshadow the other people, and in that quest they are writing anything and everything on any getting it published on any platform. So my agenda, my point is not to demotivate anyone to from writing or publishing on those platforms. But what I feel when I write a research paper or something is that whenever you are a student or a law professional, whatever you are, there has to be a proper comprehensive framework while researching or while writing a legal research paper, right? And secondly, that researching should be a continuous thing. Like for any lawyer, be it whether you are in academics or in-house or whatever you are, researching should be a continuous thing. It should be a continuous phenomenon. But writing or not, it depends on you. It is not necessary that if you are researching constantly, you should be writing constantly, because the objective of legal writing is to make sure that your ideas are reaching across various platforms, so that other people are able to get to know your views. What is your view, right? So whenever you are willing to write a research paper, it's very important to first identify the area, like what is the main area where you want to research, what is the main theme you want to research. What if you have already identified the main theme, main research area, you need to narrow it down. If the theme or the content is something which can be narrowed down, then you need to narrow it down to some or the other aspect, as to yes, I can work on this part or I can work on this part. Then the next important thing is that you have to research continuously. You have to research more. It's not like because see, if already there is 5 or 6 articles on that subject already, like there are literature, and what you are doing is you are just plugging some part from this side, some part from that website, some part from this website, and then coming up with your article of your own. It would not really benefit you, right? Because in the research paper, that is because see, research means what is already is there, you are researching it, right? That's not wrong to research on something which is already there. But what is wrong is you should not only end up in doing only that, because that is the whole conceptually wrong concept. Because you only end up researching and don't give your own opinion or your own understanding on something. So until and unless you research more, you work more, you read more, you can't write a good research paper. Because the first and the foremost thing for writing a good research paper or a good blog or a good article is that you need to research more. Second is you need to have a very fine, or I should say good, the English grammar, the grammar skills, right? Because while writing research papers, a lot of students commit grammatical mistakes, subject verb agreement. These are the very, this is a very basic thing which we used to learn eventually during our class preparation or in our school life. But these are things which are really important these days, because be it a cover letter, be it a research paper, if there is any spelling mistake or small mistake, there are reviewers, editors who tend to reject the piece. They reject the article just because of the lack of English, lack of proper command, lack of grammatical coherence. So that is also required when you write a good research paper. And then eventually, if you are done with your finding out a proper framework, narrowing down properly, and then finding a good piece, researching more, then you can identify what are the basic framework of writing a paper. You can just divide your areas. Like this is my area, then this is. You need to make a proper flow. You need to create a flow chart of your identification in your own mind or in your Word document. This is the flow I want to follow, or what is already there in the internet. Like, why would people read your paper? There is a reason. Why would I read your paper if already there is something on that? So preferably it should be like this. Accordingly, this is how you can at least start with your research paper.
That was a very useful answer. I hope many students will find it useful. So, next question. Your profile mentions that you are a contributing author for Oxford competition law. So, can you tell us something about that?
Yes, it was. Now it's almost going to get over in the journey of 1 year, until unless they get it renewed. So the thing was, it's nothing much. Like, it's not something a very big thing. It was just like, like Oxford Law. You must be knowing in India, it's a journal. Like Oxford Competition Law is a research platform, or like managed by the Oxford University. So it's just like they usually invite contributors for their platform, where the main job of the Oxford contributors, like the people like me who are the part of them, is like they pick and choose the foreign judgments. Like, suppose if you are there, I am there, and some other there. So if three of us are working as a contributor, so three of them can choose a different like a different jurisdiction. Like, you can choose Sweden, I can choose France, or the other person can choose USA. So what we have to do is, whenever a judgment comes of competition, antitrust law, in those jurisdictions, our job is to read those judgments, to make out case summaries. Like, just like we have in Manupatra and SEC online, there must be head notes and case notes. That is the basic job, where end up contributing the case summary, case note, head note, the summary, what is the main idea of the case. Like, recently in the US High Court pronounced the master visa judgment in the UK High Court, the drift between the Mastercard and the Visa and the retail in the UK High Court recently gave a judgment. So there, people who are handling the UK jurisdiction, their job is to prepare a summary or case report on that. So that is the whole job of the Oxford contribution.
So, where all these case notes that you prepare are published?
So it is like Oxford Law only. They only publish. They have a set, so where they publish the case summaries. So say when you would go to read Manupatra. So you'll see Manupatra. Whenever you read a case, there are already head notes available in the bolds, black, like these puts on it. But you never know who all are preparing that. In SEC also, you must be seeing there are case notes, but who all are preparing, you all not are aware, right? So accordingly, whenever the Oxford publication would be publishing that case note, that will be originally part of that particular case whenever you will be downloading from that.
You've also mentioned in your profile that uh, you are an area advisory board member at MIT University. So, what is your role in that? Like,
Yes, so that also just happened a bit by chance. So the basic job in MIT University is that they have a set of advisors in different fields. So like they have advisors in academia, they have advisors from industry, and then research and think tanks. So I'm part of the industry advisory board members. My field of law is the international law in their university. So what my job is to basically work in addendum with the faculties, the research associates, and all those people who are involved, and help them in making the curriculum, the syllabus, the reviewing the syllabuses which are there. So like there are syllabus like international law involves international criminal law, humanitarian law, environmental law, investment laws. So it's just like we have to choose 3 or 4 subjects according to our convenience and as per our time, and we review those syllabus. Like if we feel that something is less or something should be added, because we work in the practical field, right? So to bridge the gap between the industry and the university, the academia, our job is to fill that gap. So accordingly, we give our suggestions with respect to the curriculum, or this should be framed, or this should be a part, or this should not be the part. And accordingly, these syllabuses are framed. And then eventually, with respect to future, because we usually have right now we can't have the physical meetings, so we usually have virtual meetings like whenever we require for the discussion with the directors of the MIT University and all those faculty who are involved. And then in the future, if required, we can take ahead of the guest lectures or discussions with the student or something like this. So this is the whole idea of the advisory board.
You've given few tips and tricks to the students who are still studying law. So, what is the advice that you want to give to the students who have graduated?
See, to those who are already graduated, I usually accuse myself of giving advices, because the thing is, I am also learning, right? I know, because as I have always said in every other platform to every interviewee, that litigation or law is something where you can't have one size fits all approach, right? If I give certain advice, it might not be favorable for the others, because they might not have the same kind of situation where I am, because everybody's situation is different, like from financial commitment to financial stability to academic requirement to future growth or the current seniors. It all depends where all they are willing to go and how far they are willing to go. So I don't think there's a proper straight jacket advice which I should give it to the graduates who are already graduated. But yes, 1 or 2 things which I can say is that it is always better that like once you are graduated, to find a place where you get a good colleague and a good senior. Most of the students who are graduated, like mostly the fresh graduates who would have been graduated this year, the batch of 2020, or from my batch, or say already graduated 1 or 2 years. So I usually feel that they end up going towards the firms lawyers were offering, like say there are some bunch of students who joins a law firm or lawyers who are offering, like 1,10,000, 2 lakh, something very high amount, and but they don't end up getting that experiences or skills which they really want. There is no direct contact between the boss, the seniors, and the young law graduates. Like there is no direct contact. So that is also a problem. So I always suggest that it's always better to find or prefer a good boss over a good salary. Because like you can always work on your salary aspect with some of the other thing, because there are a lot of things by which you can earn after a year or two or something. But in your starting years, when you are just graduated, it is really because what you would be working when you are just graduating, that would be building your whole career, the whole career throughout the life. So it's important to find a good boss essentially in your first 2 years or 3 years of practice, because that would really help you to become a good person, a good advocate in the future. And secondly, I would advise that it's always better, be it if you're a corporate lawyer, if you're a transactional lawyer, if you're any kind of lawyer, if possible, you should definitely, like I am doing it, like you should, like I have learned from this from my seniors, that you should always devote some amount of time in the lower court practice. It's really important. Even if you want to become a good corporate lawyer, or a good like a designated partner in some tier 1 law firm. For that also, you need to have a good knowledge of the ground level functioning of the trial court and the district court, because the way they function, that would really help you becoming a good lawyer, because a good lawyer is not someone corporate or a constitutional lawyer. A good lawyer is a good lawyer who is having the knowledge from groundwork till the upper work. Like, so it happens most of the times we usually miss out. Like, we feel that lower court is something which we should not focus upon. Like, we like local, it's like lower court. Why we should focus on the lower court? It's not something which would really help us. Like, there are not much works. There is no good laws, because these are the new trends in the law, like IBC, competition, RERA. These are not really practiced in the lower courts, right? What we are really practicing is the CPC, the Commercial Court Act, so the Evidence Act. So these are really sometimes missed by the young law graduates. I would request that if they can focus on these aspects as well, so then it would be a better thing to call for.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your experiences, and you have learned all these years and all these years. Thank you so much for taking out time for us and for all the students. I think this will be a very helpful interview for them as well as like it was for me. And we wish you all the best for your future endeavors. Thank you so much for joining.